I grew up in a religion that really focused on perfection. Basically, I believed it to be true more so because I wanted to appease my parents and continue down that path. And later in life, I really did believe it to be true. And it got to a point where when I got married, something just didn't seem right to me, and is kind of when I started questioning my faith in that religion. And basically me and my wife both felt the same way, and we decided to go away from it all, and basically got to a point where we thought that if this isn't true, then nothing is true, so God must not be real, and basically went down that path as an atheist. I joined the military, and most people in the military aren't very religious or God-believing, God-fearing. There was something always nagging in the back of my mind that it wasn't necessarily that I didn't believe in God, it was the fact that I never felt like I was good enough for Him, and that was mainly due to the religion that I was in. And I think a lot of religions are like that, and so I didn't really have a relationship with God. Last year, my spouse passed away while I was deployed in Korea, and that's when my life started to go downhill, and I was hurting really badly inside, and I reached out to a grief website and ended up emailing 20 different people. Out of all the emails I sent out, I only got one response back from a Christian woman in Australia, and I didn't know she was Christian at the time, but she lost her husband to suicide just like I lost my wife to suicide. I asked what were some of the ways she dealt with the loneliness and aspects, and she said, well, that she recommended me reading the Bible, and she ended up actually sending me one. So when I got the Bible, it was a red letter Bible. I've never seen a red letter Bible. I didn't know what the red letters meant, but it was definitely striking some chords with me, and I could recognize that it was true, the things that I was reading in the Word. I asked her what those meant, and she said that they were Jesus's words. And so I ended up researching everything, trying to get truth, not just based off of a feeling, because the religion I was a part of, and most religions, tend to focus on a feeling, and that's how you know truth, whereas Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. So His words were ringing true to me, and I was trying to discover who he really was, and why I should trust the words from the Bible, that God's grace is enough, that that's all we really need, that even though I never felt good enough, that the constant mistakes, I got that change in my heart. I became a new creature by just faith through grace. That's how I came to Christ. And I know I'm sure I'll make mistakes down the road, but God's grace is enough, then I can always come back to Him. So when I say grace, when God's grace is sufficient, that means like there's no additional requirements. Like a lot of religions will focus on, they'll say, yes, His grace is sufficient, but then they'll require you to do certain things in order to be forgiven of your sins. So the most precious truth is that His grace is enough,